What's up guys, Presley Yong here, back for another video, and today is another video and it's talk about storage. Now many people keep searching on YouTube talking about is 64 gigabytes enough, is 128 enough, is 256 enough, and 512 enough on your iPhone. Now I do specifically on iPhone, not Android, but I also can help people for those people using Android as well. Now when it comes to iPhone, Apple only set 3 configuration of the storage. Number 1 is 128, 2 is 256, which is the device I'm owning right now, and 512 gigabyte. If you're using like the iPhone 12 or iPhone 12 mini, iPhone 11, iPhone 10, you may seen before Apple selling at 64 gigabyte. And of course, in the past, during 2012, 2013, they also start with a price of 16 gigabytes. And the question is it enough? That's the question. So right now it's in 2020. I think 128 is the storage for most consumers who is not using games. Then 128 is enough. If it's 256, it's those people who use video editing and phone on like using WhatsApp and you didn't delete the chat, and also photos, take a lot of photos, you don't want to delete it, and also those people who play a lot of games like online higher games, like they actually take out a lot of hot space and data as well. And that's 256. And if you choose the 512, you can just take the whole, that's the largest one, but I don't recommend people to take 512. 256 and it's really enough. Like that's the maximum capacity, that's the very good. 512, if you want 512 gigabyte, I suggest you just get an iPad Pro 512 gigabyte, because this iPad Pro only can utilize the 512. Phones don't utilize that 256 enough. Now, also some people's asking whether 64 gigabytes is enough. Well, it depends on what apps you're using in the phone. Let's say you're using social media apps like Facebook or Instagram, then 64 is enough. If you don't take a lot of video recording, then or take pictures, then also enough. And those people who's only enough if you got 64, if you subscribe an iCloud account, if you subscribe, like the first default is 5 gigabyte, you want to upgrade to 20 gigabyte, and yeah, you can upgrade it if you want to. Now 64 is maybe a bit of struggling in when you're trying to optimize like the apps, everything. Like sometimes, no, it take a lot and then you have to remove it and then reinstall it. So I can show you why it means. Like, go to general, go to iPhone storage, and you can see there is a word called others. Now what is other? Other means all those cache like found inside the system. Sometimes others also represent the document data, and document also has the cache inside of it. Now if you want to remove it, you can have to delete it, because document data still stores inside the phone, which is kind of insane, but it's okay. And for me, if you want to buy a 64 is only enough if you are actually like came from the like iPhone, like back to 2012, 2013, 2014. Now those days, that time, 64 gigabyte is a very large file. Nobody buys it. I have an iPhone 5, but I didn't bring it in. That iPhone 5 has 32 gigabytes, and that time is back in 2013. When I have the phone, that phone's enough to get the 32 gigabyte option. This remote, okay, 32 gigabyte option. And the iPhone 6 has 16, 64, and 128. iPhone 7 was the first phone to get 256, and 256, that's a lot. At the time back in 2016, 128 was enough, and 32 gigabyte was actually enough until 2017 when Apple introduced the new iPhone 10. That's where they introduced the new video recording. Especially if you scroll down, let me show you. If you go to settings, you scroll down to like around here and stop, you can see photo and cameras. You go to cameras and you can go to video recording. You can see there's a new option. 4K is at 60 frames per second. And for iPhone 12 and the 12 Pro, well, they have a new feature called the HDR video, which is actually right here. You can see here HDR video, and that's a record out to 60 frames per second, 10-bit dummy range including Dolby Vision. And you can see that if I just turn it off, you can see it's just dropped 5 megabytes. When I just click it, it just increase it. Now if you get 4K 24 frames per second, that one they use a lot. But the good thing is that I only like use 1080 and 30 frames per second for videoing for most time when doing some beta videos, then should be fine. You can do 60 fps if you like, oh, I'm gonna do some testing on gaming on the device, so I'm gonna run on 60 frames per second. It's up to you, but I would recommend people just stay at 1080p at 30 frames per second. You only use 4K 30 60 or 24 if you're like, I want to take a scenery view, beautiful video camera, then you only switch it down. That's a camera settings. If you, let's say you like going to the camera and you click video, on the top right hand corner they will be showing a HD thing. I can show you how. So you go to video, you can see here this HD. When I tap on it, you can change to 4K. When I tap on it, you can go 60. When I tap again, you can go 24. If you do want, if I go HD, I can go back 30. Now HD 30 can go to 60 frames per second, and they may adjust. Yeah, there you go, 60 frames per second, and it's up to you. Now the camera is better, you just have to force it to close, because or else there will be a notification saying that, oh, camera's recently just open, and other few minutes later you just like remove it later. So you just wait for a moment. They can still open it, but it still takes a time for the camera to turn off. So that's the problem. When you need to force it close, or else people are going to look at your camera. So let's try again. Ah, there we go, it's gone. So that's a good thing. Okay, yeah, and so what's my conclusion in the end? Whether should you get what storage should you get? Now, if you're getting for the Pro models, Pro Max, you are getting at a good start because they start at 128 and 256 512. But when it comes to the iPhone 12, the maximum is 256. Base storage is 64. And the next year's iPhone also start with 64. You start with the base model, the mini, and the normal 12. I wouldn't encourage you to get a 64. You're going to struggle to sell all the 64 of the past 2-3 years until end of support. Start from 112GB, 28GB, 128GB, and also a 256GB. That's a great starting point of getting a new phone. Now, if you want to use 64GB, you only, if you don't play games and you only do social media apps and only take better photos and you just delete it in the end, only store the important one, then 64GB is enough. So yeah, so that's about it. So and then if we focus it, that's about it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on notification bell. I'll see you in the next video.